These are some of the people you read about in my family
Can you hear me?
in Black AF history. First of all, I wanted to do this before they read it because none of them have read it. My cousins, but these are the people that's part of the book. Now, the first question I want to ask is, so one of like the foundational beginnings of the book is the idea of the middle room, like how I learned about history and stuff like that starts in the middle room. So what do y'all remember? Like how, first of all, I don't even know. I've never asked this question. How did all those books get in the middle room?
Well, we didn't call it the middle room, Michael. We called
I
it the
think that's
hall.
my generation called it the middle room.
We called it the hall. The way those books got there is Daddy wanted to save our books from school, right, y'all?
Well, it's a selection of books that we had over time.
And so he built this bookshelf that from floor to ceiling almost. And so we would always put our books there. But I think the first thing is that they used to people used to go around selling the encyclopedias, World Book encyclopedias.
Yeah.
And Mama bought, you paid on a monthly or weekly or whatever. And Mama bought the World Book encyclopedia for us.
Because Daddy wanted everybody to be intelligent enough to have conversation. That was something that he bought for us to read and to study out of.
So one of the questions I have is, right, so I don't know how everybody's books got there. Like there are books I know that Junior read after I know he like left James Avenue. Like Junior was an adult when that came out. So Rosalind, do you know how those books, like would he bring them back there or how they got there?
Wherever he went, he took the books. Been removed, he took the books. If he lived someplace temporarily, he took the books. So Soul on Ice, any other historical Black books was with him. So how the books got there, wherever he was, certain books he took with him.
And the other thing, Rosalind, as you were indicating, is we all came in and out of this house.
Yes.
And so we'd move back home for a little while and we'd bring our stuff with us. But when we left, we probably wouldn't take everything. So that's another way a lot of the books got there. Yeah.
So one of the other parts of the book that I talk about a lot is food, like the history of food and how it is part of our family history. Like how did food like become so much part of our family? Because we like are a family that kind of feeds like the neighborhood and the community. How did that happen?
And one of the things that drew our friends to come to our house, especially with me and Junior, to watch football games, basketball games, and to hang out with us, was the food that our mother was cooking. Because even though she worked 8 hours a day, as soon as she got home, she went in the kitchen and prepared a meal. So that was just part of our, I guess, the DNA of the Harriot or the Bradleys. That cooking was something, and we fed everybody that we could. We invited people to the house to eat. We brought people to the house to eat. People came by. All our church families came to the house to eat. Yes. All the ministers, sometimes the members, they would all come to our house to eat.
We all know this. Like, so basically, we grew up. Like all of us lived, and it's really related to the book. Not far from where our family was enslaved. Like we would visit, like basically our family who lived on the land where our ancestors and the people before us was enslaved. What kind of impact do you think, like just first of all, one of the premises of the book is that South Carolina is the capital of Black America. what kind of impact do you think that has on how we see history and see ourselves?
It was always present. It always played a part in how we thought, how we acted or reacted. And one of the things during our time was we said the field just changed the look. It came from a field to an office with cubicles, and that there was always someone watching, and you had to behave in a certain way, because during our time it was like token, So, but it's just that the location of the field changed.
I think the other thing, Michael, by us living close, and we did live close to where our ancestors, and we would go visit. And when you all were coming along, we would take you all to visit. I think that, and Mama would tell us, and Daddy would specifically say a lot when we went to those places, I don't want you all to have to experience this.
Yes.
He didn't want us to have to live the way he grew up. And he would say that to us all the time.
Saying that, Janie, something else I remember saying I was telling Misha or somebody last night that Daddy's daddy, believe it or not, was a corn liquor man. He made and sold corn liquor. Daddy came along and did the same thing. And like Mom would say, when Rob and Junior came along, they didn't do corn liquor. They did whatever else was popular then. So it's kind of like, and we used to always go back to Bishopville, to Lee County, where our ancestors lived.
Yeah, I was telling somebody the other day that I remember when, first of all, if you you might not know this if you're watching this video, but my sister and I have a long standing battle over who has the best candied yams. But I was telling somebody that when grandmama taught me how to make candy yams, she told me, put this amount of cinnamon in there and put this amount of nutmeg. Now, I like more nutmeg than I like cinnamon.
I do too.
But my grandmama liked more cinnamon than she liked nutmeg.
That's right.
That's what she said. Now, that's how far. But I like more cinnamon than I like nutmeg too. So when I make candy jams, I use my grandmother's grandmother recipe. Well, my grandmother's grandmother was a slave. That's how far, if you don't think you carry like the sentiments or the beliefs of your ancestors, because that was a long time ago, slavery was a long time ago, people say, but we still carry those things with us. It goes through generations. Right. So I also heard, is this true? That like when y'all moved into the house, it was when Phyllis was brought home as a baby, right?
Yes, yes.
One of the things that made us very close as a family, I think it was the way that our parents had us interact with each other. But again, me and my brother, I just posted something the other day saying he was actually my hero when I was a kid. We spent a lot of time together, so much time together.
All the time.
I mean, we dressed alike. We walked to school together, walked from school together. Whatever he was a part of, I was a part of. Whatever I was a part of, he became a part of. And we were just like, one girl told me, "Hey man, it's hard for me to imagine you without your brother because y'all was tied here. Everything y'all did was, and that was one of the things that attracted our friends to us too, because we were so close as brothers. Everybody wanted to have a brother like me and my brother was, So we kind of like adopted. Then we had a friend, Bernard Goldman. He didn't have no siblings at all. So we kind of like adopted him as our brother.
And he still calls us.
It's just that, and I think it's a family trait too, because we spend we spend so much time with our cousins.
Right.
Hey man, we would go to Bishopville sometimes 2 or 3 times a week just to hang out and play with our cousins. While our dad would go visit some of the people he grew up with. We spent when y'all was coming up, every weekend. Mama and Harriot wanted all her grandkids at this house. So, in other words, hey man, everybody slept in the same room, and and everything. Everybody was here every Sabbath day. Everybody, all her grandkids were at the house.
The other thing, Michael, is that the way Mama and her siblings raised their children, so that our cousins were always our best friends. Our cousins were our best friends. And many of us are still like siblings. We call each other sister cousins, brother cousins. But my mama had 9 siblings, and they raised their children as if they were sisters and brothers and not necessarily cousins.
Where did this, I don't even know if it's a belief or an idea or old wives' tale about peeing in the cup and putting it on the table and praying on the cup? Where did that come from? Have y'all ever heard that?
That came from your grandma. Boy, that came from your grandma.
Water in the cup
and put it by the table.
Pray over the cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's water.
Well, anytime you had a fever, you had a cold, you had the flu, you had anything, what she would do, she would bring a glass of water to the bed, and she would pray over the water, and you had to drink all the water, at one time. And once you drank the water,
turn the glass down.
Upside down.
Yes.
On the nightstand.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, when you wake up, you gonna feel better. Right. And I came to believe that.
Until this day, I believe that.
I just want people to know that, like, these stories are literally true stories. Like, I do not know why I thought you had to drink the pee, but I thought you were supposed to drink the pee and pray over the pee.
Water.
And it turned out it was what? See, they said it was water. And I learned later. I was older when I learned it was water because I thought it was pee. And I thought I was supposed to drink my own pee. I'm still kind of upset with Grandmama about that.
Michael,
yeah.
I would like to go back to something you was talking about, the food and the spice. I'm a cook. I love cooking. And Misha, my daughter, when she cooked, people ask her, well, how much do you put in there? How much you know what she said? I shake it till my ancestors tell me that's enough.
Right.
We had Mama, we had Annabelle, we had ancestors that cooked. So she said, I season it till my ancestors say, hey, that's enough.
Of course, y'all know, if you read the book so far, I told y'all I'm one of the few people in the world who not only has an Uncle Junior, but my Aunt Marvell is named after my grandmother, so I have an Aunt Junior as well. Marvell's house also was the site of the infamous chicken chase.
James was a cook as well, and he'd make sauces, and they would just be awesome. So you got to do that again. What did you use? I don't know. What did you use? How much did you use? I don't know. He could tell you the basics, but never a measurement. And now Jeremy's the same way.
Well, in the book, I said in the book that Junior say the amount of water you need to cook rice is if your fingertip touching the rice, then the water's supposed to come up to 1 knuckle. That's a measurement. I don't know how much a knuckle is, but a knuckle is a measurement. Like you put a knuckle of rice, a knuckle of water in there.
Knuckle of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, we can't wait to read this book because
really
I've heard from somebody who has read it. I'm just saying, okay, when do I get to see this? But and I said to somebody one day, I quite often tell Michael, stop telling our family secrets, but they don't know that.
That's not gonna happen.
Yeah. It's always funny where people think those stories are not true. And I was like, you do not know. First of all, I have an endless supply of these stories. So there's another book coming out later this year it's an anthology, a humor anthology that y'all appear in too, because they just wanted me to write anything funny. So I wrote my family's history of the Holy Ghost, oral history of the Harriot Holy Ghost.
Was Sister Wilma as the star?
Talk about Sister Wilma, how Sister Wilma can sing. So I'm gonna save this video because people gonna think I made up the name Sister Wilma, but see, like unprompted, that was who was brought up. So, all right. Well, I want to thank y'all for doing this Zoom call. I also wanted just to let y'all know that any stories that y'all don't like that I told, now everybody, at least you know now you've committed on tape to saying that they were true. So you can't say I was not telling the truth about you. So yes, a knuckle is a measurement. Yes, that Marvell had a chicken, a gangster chicken outside her house. Y'all see Uncle Rob is the exact person that I describe him as. My Aunt Phyllis, that is literally her chicken recipe. And so all of this stuff is true. And thank y'all for coming. And
well, Michael, I just want to say that we appreciate the fact that you trust us enough to tell our stories. And we trust you to tell our stories because this is our family history.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all. I'm trying to keep it alive and glad that y'all entrust me with it.